Good day, it's Sandy, your sister and your friend. Welcome to today's video. Today I want to talk about how we can go about changing our life story. Um, we love a story. We love a story where the hero wins in the end, where the underdog overcomes whatever the problems are in his or her life and is successful at the end of the story. But unfortunately, a lot of us seem to be living our life story that it's kind of miserable and we can't seem to change it. It's like we're stuck in this thing like Groundhog Day, where Bill Murray just keeps experiencing the very same day over and over and over again. But I started thinking about this, and I was thinking, is it possible that the unhappiness that we experience in our life has more to do with the story that we're telling ourselves than it does with the events that are actually unfolding in front of us? Well, I talked about this with a close friend of mine, and she shared a story of how she changed her perception of what her life story really was. She was feeling a lot of anxiety at times. She had trouble falling asleep at night, and she actually had heart palpitations sometimes. And she realized when she stopped to think about it that she felt also this kind of may have come out of her feelings that she felt like she wasn't safe, she was unloved, and she wasn't worthy. So she decided that she disliked this story so much that she came up with a plan. And her plan was to have daily meditations because she wanted to learn how to let go of this stuff. So she sat daily, and she just sat there and had positive um, meditations that she was listening to. And as she did, with this intention of letting go of this negativity, she could feel all these negative feelings and thoughts coming up into her awareness. And she let them go as each of them came up. There were a lot of tears, she said, that she shed during this time. And it took about 3 months of practicing this daily for her to fully let these things go. And then it took about another 9 months for her to replace those old beliefs and those old thoughts and feelings with the knowingness now, the true knowing that she is safe, she is worthy, and she is greatly loved by God. But she set that as her intention. And what happened after during this process is she stopped feeling anxious. She now has no trouble falling asleep, and her heart palpitations disappeared. I had kind of a similar, very minor experience compared to what she described, but I wanted to share it with you today. My husband and I were having just kind of a random conversation, and something that he said made me feel like I was being judged. So I asked him that. Was he criticizing me for something I said? And he said, no, he wasn't at all. So I let it go. But the next day, I started thinking, well, if he wasn't judging me, maybe I was judging myself. Did I feel like I deserved judgment? And I thought, wow, that's really going to take some time to unpack. So, but what I did is when I sat in stillness and I considered this thought, I felt like the Holy Spirit's like, no, that's not even your thought. That was just some negative energy passing by, and you just need to let it go. So instead now of dwelling on that, I just did. I just let that energy pass on by, and it was literally replaced in a millisecond, like in 30 seconds is how much time this took, replaced with the feelings of, no, you are my child, and you're my beloved daughter, and I am well pleased with you. So it, this negativity of like judgment and everything was replaced so quickly instead by these other feelings of joy and love. So what did we both do? What did my friend and I do? We took the time to look at what our life experience was all about. and we set the intention of not living in a negative life experience. We decided instead that we would take the time and spend the energy that we needed to consider this, to do the things. In my case, it was just to sit in stillness. In her case, it was to go through meditations, that she had a meditation that she listened to. And in both cases, we came out with a whole different story. We changed the story that we were believing. So this is something that we can do. And in her case, she had actually believed these lies about herself long enough that it had actually produced physical manifestations that were also overcome by replacing this with a positive life story, which was true about herself. So as I pondered my own experience with Holy Spirit, I felt like the divine showed me what actually my true self, my consciousness, was experiencing in this situation with my husband. So I would want to describe this to you. Instead of me going into a place of feeling judged and then feeling, like my husband's judging me, like I'm judging myself or deserve judgment, what consciousness, my true self, was experiencing was this. Oh, wow, there's something that my husband said, but you know what? I love my husband so much, and loving him and expressing my love to him gives me so much joy and pleasure. I am not willing to give that up. My joy and my love that I'm feeling, this happiness that I just feel overabundant all the time. I'm not willing to give that up. So instead, Holy Spirit, if there's anything at all that's any brokenness right now in this instance between myself and my husband, would you bring it to our minds, into our hearts, and would you do the work for us and just bring that to mind? And I'm going to just let that go because I trust you. I know that you're much better at this than I am, and I'm just going to relax and rest in you. And then turning to my ego would have said, ego, I see you for who you are. You always take my past experiences and you create some negative story with it. That's all you know how to do. So I'm not blaming you for it. That's all you know. But you're like an undisciplined child, and I'm not going to listen to you. So I'm going to instead trust Holy Spirit to do the thing that I know Holy Spirit knows how to do. So if I had operated solely from consciousness, I would not have experienced any feelings of judgment. I would have stayed in love, because in consciousness, love is the only way that consciousness expresses itself. And it always has a goal of unity, of us feeling one with God and one with each other. And our ego, on the other hand, is always coming from a place of fear. And because it's fearful, it's always going to, its goal is to divide and separate. It's always to have us think that we're separated from God. We're not, but that's the goal of the ego. So our ego is actually the enemy within us. And we just need to recognize it. We just need to know that we don't have to listen to our egos. So as we practice listening to our consciousness, responding in conscious awareness, as we look to our true self that always has all the answers, we change the mindset that we've been believing. We set our intention of practicing being always in a place of love, because that's always the divine response to everything. There's a Bible verse that says this: most important of all, you must sincerely love each other, because love wipes away many sins. Let us just join together today and with the intention of hearing the divine call that we always have in every situation, to love and to be loved, and to know that that's our divine calling. This is our true story, and our hearts actually already know that this is the divine story, our divine love story, and it is our inheritance as a child of God. Let's do that today. I join with you in setting that as my heart's intention. I love you so much. Thank you for listening. Um, Give me your comments about your story, how you changed your story. I'd love to hear that from you. So hit the like button if this means anything. Subscribe if you haven't. I love you so much. Go and be blessed fully and abundantly today. God bless you. Bye bye.